Welcome to Everton Azul, only Everton, only football. Hello football fans and Evertonians. Today we have a special guest directly from Merseyside. We have the pleasure to chat with Cameron, the mighty blue himself. Hello Cameron, how are you today?
Hi mate, I'm good, thank you. Thank you very much for having me on. It's been a long time coming, but I'm glad to come on and talk some Everton.
Thank you so much. Okay, we also have Tuto, our sidekick, who's always, helping us out with everything Everton. Hello, Tuto. How are you?
Good morning, Javi. Good morning where we are, right? Good afternoon in Merseyside.
That's right. Good afternoon. Well, I have to tell you, Cam, we're very big fans of your YouTube channel, The Mighty Blues. You have incredible facts, news, and information, but the best thing is you have love and passion for the game of football. And of course, Everton.
So thank you very much. Really appreciate that, mate. Honestly, it means a lot.
Well, you got it, my friend. But let's begin. For the past couple of days, we have been reading about James Rodriguez, who they say may be getting a contract extension next summer. The desire to keep the Colombian in blue is no doubt a priority for Marcel Brands and Carlo Ancelotti. And as we know, James, when he's fit, he's an important part of the Toffee's attack. And even though he's currently 29 years old, we have accepted the fact that he's not, the best defender, but, he can change a game with one pass. So what are your thoughts on what they're talking about? James Rodriguez maybe, getting a contract extension.
I think he should definitely get the contract extension. Now, as you mentioned, then when Everton signed James Rodriguez in the summer, obviously a player of his quality, a player of his ability. I don't think any Evertonian was thinking about his defensive work or his ability to track back. We were purely sort of in awe of his ability as a forward player and as a creator. And I stick by saying what I've said all along. I've been an Evertonian for all my life, 22 years, and I've never seen a player with as much creative quality as James Rodriguez has. When he's in this team, you just know he's got that ability to change a game when nobody else can, and it's so vital to this Everton team. Obviously he signed last summer on a 2-year contract with the possible extension for a third, so I think the hope is that that contract will be extended. From what my knowledge is that as long as both parties are happy, i.e. Everton and James, then that contract will be extended. I think the club will make it a priority, because the last thing we want is to be going into next season with James in the last year of his contract, because then obviously I think he'd become free to talk to other teams in January, and then it just becomes a bit of a headache for everybody at the football club. So hopefully he does sign on that dotted line in the summer. He's an absolutely, truly wonderful, exceptional, world-class footballer, and a player that Everton, need to be looking at keeping. Although he has had his injury issues this season, when he's been on that pitch, you just know that he's he's got that ability that nobody else has, whether it's to find a pass that nobody else can see, whether it's his goal, for example, against Crystal Palace the other week. I mean, to squeeze that into such a tight angle, it's something that only world-class footballers can produce, and that's what James is. He's a world-class footballer, and I think he's happy here. I think Everton and Carlo Ancelotti are very happy to have him here, and hopefully he can continue his journey in Royal Blue.
And you're not just saying that because he's Colombian and we're Colombian, right? Well,
you mean it?
Yeah.
No, I mean it. I mean it. Yeah, I mean
it. Wonderful. Thank you, Cameron. Okay, so Tuto, you have a question for Cameron, correct?
Well, Cameron, I mean, thank you for speaking like that about James, right? I mean, again, we are Colombian. We are supporting Everton in the distance. We're all over the world. As you can tell, there's many Colombians now following. First, because Jerry Mina got to the team. Now it's James Rodriguez. So you see these yellow jerseys walking around and wearing some pride jersey. But at the same time, I mean, we're trying to bring a whole country back to England and trying to focus. You don't know how many people are following Everton now in Colombia, and everyone's talking about James. But when James is performing, we're all happy. But when James is not, and when he's injured, of course, we're not. And we're a very weird community. We go with the wave, right? We go with the wave and we ride it. But do you remember having the same wave when Jerry Mina got to the team? Do you remember having a lot of Colombians following the team? Or James is just this massive footballer that just brings a lot of masses?
Yeah, it was. I think it was a bit different with Yerry Mina. Yerry come in, and you did notice an influx in Everton support from Colombia and from South America, as is with typically with a lot of other players when they come in. I remember when Richarlison come in, and it was the same with the Brazilian fans. But with James, it's just a completely different sort of situation. It was magnificent, to be honest with you. I remember doing the first instant match reaction, the one for the game against West Brom. It was second game of the season, and it was just flooded with comments of fans that, you know, people that I didn't recognise in the comments because they were coming in and talking about James and talking about the results. And I still think it's the second most viewed video on our channel, and I'm so appreciative of it, because even now when you know, you guys, you know, the Colombian fans are in the comments and talking about James, spot on with everything that's said. You know, everybody's frustrated, every Evertonian's frustrated when he's not fit. But I think the reality with Everton is that, you know, I think we're the only team in the Premier League to have had every single first team player out injured. So, you know, we've had a tough time with injuries this season, a really tough time with injuries, and that showed on our form. I mean, Luka Dean spent 3 months out, Alan spent 2 or 3 months out, Decore is now out for 10 months. These are key players. James has been out for months. Okay, he's come back in between, but Carlo Ancelotti got it spot on. He said 100% fit James Rodriguez is one of the best footballers in world football, and we've seen 100% James Rodriguez against Tottenham, and he was absolutely unbelievable. He was exceptional. Even a 70%, 60% James is an unbelievable play. The goal he scored against Manchester United, I wouldn't say was 100% James. The assist for Richarlison in the Liverpool game, I wouldn't say was 100% James, but he's still miles better than the majority of players. In fact, miles better than any player in this Everton team, even at 60-70%. But I get what Carlo's saying in that we wanted to give him that rest so we get back to 100% rather than risking him going in and getting a further injury. But no, like, as you mentioned, the question, it was just a completely different situation when James come in. We saw the you know, obviously the New York Times Square lit up. We saw Miami there was a boat, all around the world there was and he's an icon. He's a massive icon. But the reason I was so happy with the James signing, and I'm still so happy now, is because we haven't just signed a player with a big social media presence. We haven't just signed a player that's going to sell loads of shit. Look at the James Rodriguez situation. In another way, it could have gone a little bit like the Gareth Bale situation with Tottenham. They signed a massive superstar. He sold loads of shirts. He come in. He was a big attraction. But really, on the football pitch, he hasn't done much. I know he scored a good goal the other day, but he hasn't done an awful lot to warrant the money that he's getting paid. Whereas James has come in. He's been a massive superstar, global fan base, and, you know, shirt sales and all of that stuff. But he's also brought that ability in games that has won us the games. The Merseyside derby at Anfield, we hadn't won in 22 years. He plays a world-class pass to Richarlison, and we go 1-0 up early on, and that sets the stall. The Man United game at Old Trafford, we get a point through a fantastic goal of his. The Leicester game at home. So he's had that impact on the pitch as well as off the pitch, and I think that's what's been most important. And look, I want the lad to stay forever, and hopefully he does with Carlo.
I like that. I like forever. I like that word, forever, right? He needs to retire here. I agree.
Well, you know, I mean, you know, I started following Everton when Tim Howard came over. Believe it or not, I'm an early adopter of the Toffees, but you know, because, you know, I live in the United States and I'm a huge USA fan. That was one of the main reasons, and of course, you know, what a great honor to you know, to hear Tim Howard say such things as, you know, he will always be an Evertonian. That is, of course, you know, something that I'm very proud of. But let me take a moment to please ask everyone that is that are watching right now to please like and subscribe. And if you have not done so, go to the Mighty Blues. Let me make sure I read it right. The Mighty Blues on the YouTube channel, and of course at Mighty Blues YT on Twitter. So Cameron, let's talk about these amazing moments that we've experienced this season, right? 25 years since we won at Arsenal. 22 years since we won at Anfield. 19 years since we won at Spurs. I mean, no doubt major achievements, and yet the points that we have given away at home makes us wonder what could have been. You know, we're talking about Newcastle, Southampton, Fulham, Leeds, Crystal Palace, Brighton. I mean, come on. It is a fact that we need a right back, another player with the qualities of Doucouré and Richarlison. And there are a couple of names that we have mentioned. One of them is Max Aarons. which is the right back from Norwich City. And the latest name that has been thrown around, according to Liverpool's publications, is Barcelona's attacking midfielder Philippe Coutinho from Brazil. What are your thoughts? And of course, the up and downs. I guess it's part of being an Evertonian, right?
That's it. You've hit the nail on the head there. That's what it's like to be an Evertonian. I mean, it's going to be. I just really hope for all of our sakes as fans that Everton finish in a European position this season, because it will be a disappointment. Like you said, you'll never be able to take away the first win at Anfield in 22 years. The performance, the result, the players' pride and fighting passion was unbelievable. The same with the Arsenal game. Wasn't the greatest performance, but you'll never be able to take away the first win at Arsenal in 25 years, the first league double over Arsenal in 30, the Tottenham win. There's been some brilliant games this season, and there's been some games that I think will have changed the mentality of this football club and these players forever. These players won't be going into next season thinking, oh, we're playing Liverpool at Anfield. They'll be thinking, last time we played Liverpool, we beat them. They won't be thinking, oh, we're playing Arsenal. They'll be thinking, we done the double over these last season. They're not that great. So it is disappointing when you look at your Fulhams, your Newcastles, your Burnleys, etc., and you think of these games that we all sit down beforehand and go, yeah, we'll win this comfortably, no issues whatsoever, and then we don't end up winning it. But like I said, that's all part of being an Evertonian, I suppose. And it's frustrating because when you look at it and you look at the games we've lost this season, we've lost to Manchester City, we've lost to Manchester United at home, and we've lost to Chelsea away from home. They're probably the only three teams that we've lost to that you'd say, yeah, you can't really have too many complaints about them because they're very good teams and they're at that level. Everybody else we've lost to, we'd have beaten Newcastle twice, Fulham at home, Burnley at home, Palace the other week. We wouldn't even be a conversation about top four. We'd be top two. We'd be fighting with Manchester City for the league, and that's the frustration. I get that you take injuries into consideration. We've had ridiculous luck with injuries this season, and I understand that. We're all going to sit here and say when there's fans back at Goodison Park that could change, but then you also have to think there'll be fans back in other stadiums as well for other teams. So it's been a positive season for a lot of reasons. It has, not just for the big historical wins, but I think the mentality of the club will change with those wins. But yeah, look, it's for me it's vital that we finish in a European place now, so we can look back and we can think, you know what. It's been a real success, not only for the individual games but for the finish as well. And in terms of players in which the summer and improving the squad, I think right back is an absolute necessity. I think Max Aarons would be a really good player. I think Max Aarons has always also got that relationship with Ben Godfrey as well, so I think he's already sort of, if you like, got a friend at the club, which always helps if you've got somebody. I think that probably helped James as well a little bit with Yerry Mina. He's probably thinking, right, okay, I've got Yerry Mina there who I know from the national setup. He'll be able to introduce me to the different players, as well as obviously Carlo Ancelotti. So I think right back for me is a necessity. I love Seamus Coleman. He's for me an Everton icon. I know some people don't like to band about the word legend because of some previous Everton players that have won leagues and stuff, but certainly in my lifetime, Seamus Coleman's an Everton legend, and I don't want to replace Seamus Coleman to the point where we say he leaves the club. I just know Seamus Coleman can't play 38 games in a season, so we have to bring in a younger right back that can do that. A little bit like what we did with Luca Dean when we brought Luca Dean in and we sort of dropped Leighton Baines back. Not saying to Seamus Coleman leave, but just saying you haven't got that fitness to play consistently, so we're going to bring a younger lad in who can go for 5 or 10 years, hopefully. And in other areas, I think we need a tricky winger, to be honest with you. I think we need somebody with a bit of pace, because like we said before, James has been exceptional this season, but I do think sometimes maybe he's sort of had to fill in that right side of the field area, and he's sort of had to do a job there, and he's done that job perfectly. But we all know we'd like James to be that midfielder who just roams about everywhere and creates something. And how perfect would it be if we could have that and two really fast wingers that could take players on? So for me, I just think we need an injection of a bit of energy in this team, somebody that can run at players, take players on, create opportunities, and then they could work with your Richarlisons, your James, your Calvert-Lewins, and then maybe another centre midfielder who's got that energy that Abdoulaye Doucouré brings. Because I think one thing we've seen in recent weeks is when Abdoulaye Doucouré's been out, we don't really have that energy like we usually do when he's in there. So there's a lot of work to be done in the summer. There's a lot of areas in which we need to improve on and which we need to cover, but I'm confident that Carlo Ancelotti and Marcel Brands will cover those areas.
Yeah, for sure. Tuto, I know you were curious about something that you wanted to ask him in reference to where he is in Liverpool.
Yeah, I know. But let me ask you something first, though, because it came to mind as you were speaking. So, would you rather have another Brazilian or another Colombian in the team? Because now Coutinho, have you seen Lerma from Bournemouth? Is that how you say it?
Yeah.
Yeah, or there's another Colombian that's being thrown on the fire, Wilmer Barrios, which plays for Zenit in Russia.
Yeah.
But there's a couple of names. Do you think now that you've seen James, you've seen Jerry, do you really think Coutinho will be a good fit, or do you think someone like Lerma could be a good fit?
I don't want Philippe Coutinho. I said it before in our live stream. Not that I don't think he's a good player. I do think he's a good player. He obviously he's got that connection with Liverpool, which is which leaves a sour stain in my mind. But not only that, I just think he's at an age now. He's going to come in. He probably cost us a fair bit of money. He'd probably be on over 150 grand a week. And even other players that are available that play in his sort of position that I'd rather have. You look at the Premier League this season, and you're looking at, there's a lot of players that have impressed that I'd rather bring in. I know in the Championship you've got Emi Buendia from Norwich, who's had a fantastic season. You've got Ivan Toney from Brentford, who's had a fantastic season. But even looking sort of in the Premier League, there's other players that Everton could go out and realistically sign that would cost a lot less than what Philippe Coutinho would, and would also want probably a lot less money a week than Philippe Coutinho would. Yes, he's a bit of a global sort of name because of what he's done with Barcelona, but I just think we could bring in better for less money. And obviously you mentioned Jefferson Lerma there. Really like him. I think he's a good quality player, and that's the level of player that Everton should be going at. Like I said, there's a couple in the Premier League. My mind's just gone absolutely blank. You'll have to forgive me. Pedro Neto is one. Pedro Neto at Wolves, I think, is a really good player who I'd like Everton to sign. And if we could sign, I think he'd be an absolutely fantastic addition to this team. You've got Eze at Crystal Palace, who again, fast winger, good with the ball, quality on quality in abundance. You've got somebody mentioned Pereira for me. Pereira from West Brom before to me on the stream. You've got Rafinha from Leeds. These are all players that play in and around that Coutinho sort of position would cost a lot less money and probably would want a lot less money a week, and are currently playing in and around English football, so understand it. I think with Coutinho, I just don't know. I just don't think he'd be worth the risk personally for me.
Right, I agree. Now let me re-ask Javi real quick. So we should forget about the names that have been on the table, right? We should forget about Lingard. We should forget about Ramsey. We should forget about Rabiot. We should forget about even what was the German that we were talking, Sami Khedira last time. I mean, those names are just way off the chart, right? From your perspective.
Myself or Javi?
Yeah, go ahead.
No, you can.
Oh, sorry, mate. Look, again, I said it before. I said it last summer. It's very, very easy to link players with Carlo Ancelotti because Carlo Ancelotti has probably managed 70-80% of footballers currently playing. So it's very, very easy for journalists, and I call it lazy journalism, and I do think it is lazy journalism because I think a lot of these journalists from around the world, not just in England, they pick a player, they say, right, he probably would want to leave his current club. He's worked under Ancelotti before. Let's put two and two together and link him with Everton. And look, I've got Carlo Ancelotti's book to the side of me here, and there's a few testimonies in it at first. And there's one from Cristiano Ronaldo, there's one from Zlatan Ibrahimovic, there's one from Maldini, I think. And they all say the same thing. Cristiano Ronaldo, I'd love to play for Carlo Ancelotti again. Zlatan Ibrahimovic, I love Carlo. I'd sit here and talk about him for days and days. I think he says, how long have you got? So there's a common theme that every player that plays under Carlo Ancelotti speaks very highly of him and wants to work with him again. James was the same. He said he's like a father figure to him in football. So I just think it's very, very easy to link former Carlo Ancelotti players with Everton because of that link there. And I know we signed James, who was a former Ancelotti player, and I know we signed Alan, who was a former Ancelotti player, but I think we looked at, in the summer, we looked at what we needed and we thought, right, we need a bulldog in the midfield who can come in and who can rough it up a little bit. Okay, Alan comes in and does that job, and we need a creative spark who can just do magical things out of nothing and just swing his magic wand and create all sorts for us. We brought James in to do that. I think when you're looking at some of the other names mentioned, your Rabios and your like who you mentioned before, I just don't think he comes in and has much of an impact. Is he a good player? Yeah. But I've said it about a couple of Everton players. I think Andre Gomes is a good footballer, but I don't particularly see what he brings to this Everton team that is such a necessity. So for me, I think I think it's so easy to link players with Everton, certainly considering a lot of them have worked under Ancelotti before. But I think, like I said, right back, tricky winger, centre midfielder with energy. If any of those positions are covered by players that have worked under Carlo, brilliant, absolutely brilliant. But I don't think we should be bringing in just players because of their relationship with Ancelotti.
I agree. Cam, we're looking at the comments right here, and someone asked, ever since James joined Everton, we can now understand Cam's accent. Before that, we couldn't, and it is true. You know, I've been listening to you, I've been watching you, and I understand it so much more now. That's definitely the Liverpool accent, right? I mean, that's how. Yeah, okay, yeah. I get it. Well, then, on a personal note, then how far are you from Bramley Dock? Are you going to be hearing construction going on all day?
I'm probably a little bit out. Bramley Moor's just sort of on the outskirts of the centre of the town. I live about 5 minutes drive away from Goodison Park. Not even that, probably about 2 minute drive away from Goodison. About a 10-minute. I go on my bike often to Goodison. I'm about 10-minute bike ride away from there. So Bramley Moor, I'm about 40 minutes on a bike, probably about 25 minutes in a car. So I probably won't hear much construction, but it's easy enough to get to if I need to. I have to drive past it every day for work when I'm in the office. So it's nice. I'm close, but not too close. Whereas from Goodison, I can literally look out my window and I can practically see Goodison.
Oh my God!
I have to say it. I have to say it, Javi. I love how he says me bike, and I have to like to say spot on. You know, those are the things that Colombians now, because they have watched the Mighty Blues. Now we know how we say it, right? It's
and like mate, the word mate too. But
right there you go.
No man, I envy you. Honestly, I've never been to Goodison Park, and I cannot wait to visit. It would be an honor to have a chance to meet you personally, and all the other boys out there that the Blue Boys Network. Rose from the Everton Rose channel. I mean, wonderful people, and you guys do such a great job talking about Everton. I really, we appreciate all the information that you guys bring to the table. But Cam, why don't we talk about what is left for Everton, right? Because our next match it's this Saturday against a team that we could not be last season. Aston Villa is in 11th place with 45 points, and they come from getting a draw against West Bromwich. But, this is a side that is very similar to Everton. They have lost almost to the same teams that we have. And it's also possible that their number 10, Jack Grealish, may miss this game due to injury, if I'm not mistaken. So what do you think about this upcoming match, Cameron?
Firstly, I just want to say thank you very much for all of the support and the kind words. I really, really do appreciate it, honestly. I love being on. I think you've got an absolutely unbelievable channel. I think the work you're doing for Evertonians in Colombia and across the world is fantastic as well. So really, really do respect you guys, and thank you very much for all the kind words. In terms of Saturday, this is the type of game that Everton have tripped up in this season. It's the type of game that we sit here now, the couple of days before, and we say, right, we've got to win this. Look, Aston Villa are a good team. They've got some good players. I like Ollie Watkins. I like John McGinn. Obviously, Jack Grealish is a good player. We don't know whether he's going to be available or not. But this is the type of game that Everton notoriously will have tripped up in this season. We can't afford to do that again. It's 6 games to go. Obviously, we haven't played Aston Villa away from home yet. That game still hasn't been rescheduled, so I'm not too sure when that's going to be rescheduled. But for me, it's all about result now. Performance comes second. If you perform badly and win, that's all that matters for me. Listen, if we can go out on Saturday and perform brilliantly, then fantastic, absolutely fantastic. I'd love that. But if we as long as it's all about getting the win for me, and that was what I was happy about with the Arsenal game. Was it the greatest performance? No. Were we absolutely excellent? No. But it was all about getting that 3 points. And with 6 games to go, we can see the 5 games there. And obviously Aston Villa away hasn't been rescheduled yet. That's in there. With these games to go now, with the fight for Europe, it's so close. I said before, you could finish 9th in the Premier League this season and only be 2 points away from the top 4. That's how close it is. So we have to just start picking up points and picking up wins. And I'm glad we won on Friday night, because that takes us out of that bad run of draws, because no one likes a run of draws. Now it's just about continuing and hopefully getting some momentum and continuing to win, because that's what it's about. Now it's all about getting the results, and performance is a sort of a second for me.
Correct. Yeah, no, at this point, getting the points, and I mean the wins, not just the points, but the wins.
Yeah.
That's the most important. and bring them on in any way, that are possible, because Richarlison got lucky this time around, but yeah, we have to connect no matter what. So Tuto, before we end, you got any other questions for Cam?
Well, there's so many, right? There's so many things. We can talk to Cam and we can spend hours here with Cam. I know there's so much info. The one thing that I want to touch base, because the last few games, especially Tottenham, I was amazed how James and Gylfi connected and they assisted each other.
Right.
I would like to see Richarlison do the same thing with DCL. Dominic, he's been kind of, coming back from injury and things like that. But what do you think of Gylfi in terms of his contract as well? Because I know James, we're talking about James' contract coming up, but Gylfi's is also on the same date. I mean, they do expire June 30 next year. And what do you think? Do you really think that we're going to be able to sign him again? Or should we go after another player and he's probably moving on to a better thing? Or what do you think?
I think with Gylfi, I think it'll be his decision. I think the club will offer him a contract, and maybe if it's just 1 year, maybe 2 years, and I think it'll be his decision whether to decide. There is an element to me that feels a bit sorry for Gylfi Sigurdsson, because he's been at Everton, 4 years. In his first season, he was played out of position by Ronald Koeman. He was played on left attacking mid, which he's never been a left attacking sort of left winger sort of position, because he hasn't got the pace for it. He then struggled with injury. He then had the second season, which was Marco Silva's first season, and he was absolutely excellent. I remember the goal he scored against Leicester away. He was one of our best players in that season. He then had last season, and I think he was asked to play defensively a lot, because we didn't have many midfielders in there. Obviously, we hadn't signed Alan, we hadn't signed Decore. Gomez had picked up his injury midway through the season. He was asked to do his defensive duties, and let's be honest, he's not a defensive player. We all know that. And this season, he's had a much better season. I think he's been involved. The 2 goals against Tottenham, obviously, penalty against Liverpool at Anfield. The second goal against Tottenham was an unbelievable finish. Absolutely brilliant, the way he opens his body and curves it in. It was a great goal. Like I said, I do understand where some people's issues come with Gylfi, because he's not the fastest player, he's not the quickest player, and look, when he's asked to play defensively, he's not going to have a great game, because he's not a defender. Going forward, he's got quality. I'd say he's probably second to James in terms of general ability in this Everton team, in terms of ability to create situations. He's not on James' level, but he's the nearest we have to James. And they did connect brilliantly against Tottenham. The pair of them were fantastic, and I'd like to see more of that as well, to be honest, because we haven't seen that enough this season. We haven't seen Gylfi and James connecting together. The general consensus from a lot of Evertonians, I think, is that them two can't play together in the same team, because they're very similar, whereas against Tottenham, we saw them play together, and they were very, very good. So I'd like to see more of that. In terms of Richarlison and DCL, I think again, an element to me feels for Richarlison, because I think he wants to play as a centre forward, but I don't think he wants to play as a centre forward in the way that he's been playing recently, and that is just sort of everybody here and then Richarlison here, and everybody leaves the ball up to him. When he says I want to play centre forward, I think he means he wants to play directly next to Dom as a split striker, and we saw that towards the back end of last season. And Richarlison was very good. He was scoring goals, he was getting involved. So I'd like to see more of Dom and Richarlison playing as a centre forward partnership, to be honest with you. But yeah, in terms of Gylfi, look, again, and he's had 4 seasons at Everton. I'd say 2 of them have been poor, but maybe not necessarily through his own fault, and 2 of them have been, very good. This season specifically has been very good. But I know maybe a lot of Evertonians would sort of say, well, shake his hand, thank him for his time. You'd also have to realise as well that his age and the fact that he's probably on, we all have to realise as a fan base, by the way, I didn't mean just you two, we all have to realise as a fan base that, with his age and the fact that he's on probably, £125,000 a week, is it financially the best decision to sign Gylfi Sigurdsson on another contract for another year or 2 years, in terms of where the club wants to be financially? I don't know, but as a player, he's had a good season this season, Gylfi, and I think he deserves credit for that. Whether or not he'll stay, I think the club have to then ultimately sit down and go, can we afford to give him another 150k for another however many seasons? I'm not sure.
So Cameron, right. So take a look at this possible lineup. And yeah, I do not have Gylfi Sigurdsson. What are your thoughts on this hopeful lineup? I have to be honest, I'm wishful thinking, when it comes to having these players on this lineup. What do you think? What are your thoughts? Can you take a look at this?
Yeah, brilliantly. I like it. Obviously, Jordan Pickford is for me, since the Merseyside derby, his turn of form has been absolutely exceptional. He's kept us in a number of games. Southampton at home, West Brom away. Obviously, the Arsenal game, he made a brilliant save. What I've liked, what you've done there, is you've got Alan and Davis in a double pivot, and I really want to see Alan and Davis together in that centre midfield, because I think without the core, I think they're our best two centre midfield partners. I think Gomez, like I said, I'm not massively impressed, and Sigurdsson, if he's going to be in the team, he needs to be further up. So I really like what you've done there with Alan and Davis. I think that I'd love to see that. Obviously the width coming from Dean and Coleman, and then the front three, like I said, hopefully they can reignite their form of earlier on in the season. But no, I like that. I like that formation. If I was to make any changes, I'd probably take Michael Keane out to go to a 4 at the back. Maybe put James in the... But then again, you put James in the centre, and then you've got no right winger, because we don't have a right winger. So it's difficult for Carlo at the moment, but I like that team, and I think...
And I'm not planning on giving Alex Iowi another chance on my lineup. I have to be honest with you, and I feel horrible, because he is indeed a good player, and he just haven't found himself on the Everton team. But let's not beat up on the poor guy. I have to be honest with you. I guess they're all soccer players. They have feelings, and they want to be the best at absolutely everything they do, no doubt. But Cameron, that's about all the time we have. I really want to thank you so much for your time and support, of course, of our channel. And, we urge everyone to please also visit Cameron on his YouTube channel, The Mighty Blues. Cam streams daily.
Thank you very much.
Cam streams daily with latest about everything Everton. And of course, make sure you head over to his channel right now and you like and subscribe, because he actually posted a video before this. He was very busy doing a live stream only a few minutes ago. So make sure you like that video as well. And of course, like this video and subscribe. And, I want to thank you, Cam. You're absolutely welcome to our channel anytime you want. You are absolutely, so well informed, and we really appreciate it. And I want to thank all of our fans and everybody that have subscribed and that love this channel. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Tuto. Thank you so much,
Javi.
my friend. Thank you,
Spot on.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Just before we jump, I just want to say thank you very, very much for having me on. I've absolutely loved it. It's been brilliant. I can't wait to come on again in the next few weeks or so. Hopefully I can have you both on our channel talking some about Everton as well. But I've really loved it. If anybody's watching from the Mighty Blues, please do subscribe to Everton Azul. Fantastic channel, spreading the Everton message in the Everton family throughout the world. So subscribe, leave it a like as well, and you'll see Xavi and Tuto on the Mighty Blues within the next few weeks, hopefully. So big thanks for having me on. Really do appreciate it.
And thanks to everyone, okay? All right, so we'll see you in the next one. Up the Toffees! Take care now. Bye.
Up the Toffees.
Up the Toffees.